few weeks ago, I made a video talking about three major bugs that were going on in Squad and how they were impacting the game. I'll link that video in the description. If you have not watched that yet, I would highly recommend watching that before watching this video. The bugs covered in that video include the weapon sway bug, the vehicle orientation bug based on the damage values for the vehicle, as well as the bugged turret hitbox for the new Striker MGS. Luckily, just less than a week later after that video came out, OWI has dropped this bug fix where they have patched both the weapon sway bug and the vehicle orientation bug. So those are supposedly taken out of the game. Unfortunately, it seems like they didn't patch the Striker MGS bug. However, that was just found later than the other two, so I understand that one might still take a while. As a precaution, I decided to then hop on to a live server on Jensen's Range and test if the bugs had indeed been patched and in what method they had been patched. So I first tested weapon sway by seeing the amount of sway I would get at the normal FPS my PC gets, which at this case was about 100, versus how much sway would happen if I was at 30 FPS. Considering some minor deviations with the amount of sprint I had left over in these clips, they relatively do look about the same. I was trying to hit center mass on the center target in both of these clips, and as you can see, it's bouncing all over the place on both FPSs. I think it's safe to conclude that OWI has patched this problem. I know a lot of people in the comments on the last video were hoping that they wouldn't fix the sway so that everybody would be as bad as the 30 FPS. It seems that they met somewhere in the middle for this. It doesn't look like it's as bad as the 30 FPS in the original clips, but it also doesn't look as good as the max FPS in the original bug clips. Moving on to the second bug that I covered in that last video, where the armor values change based on the vehicle's orientation. As you can see in the original clip, if the vehicle is faced a normal cardinal direction, it takes normal damage, and if it is not faced that normal cardinal direction, it takes no damage. So in this first test I did here, you can clearly see the Abrams is facing north, so that would mean it would take normal damage, and as you can see, just as we expect, it takes normal damage. For the next test, the Abrams is facing northeast, which previously would mean that the Abrams would not take any damage at this angle. But as you can clearly see, it has taken damage and has taken almost the exact, if not the exact same amount as the other Abrams. Just as comparison, here's a side-by-side of the two different Abrams and their damage that they took. And just for good measure, I did test the MGS Striker, even though it wasn't in the patch notes, and it does still seem to be bugged. However, that's to be expected as it wasn't included in what they said that they did patch. In conclusion, I'm very satisfied that OWI actually did patch this, and they patched it in a very efficient and well done method. It did take a lot longer than I had hoped for the original weapon sway that had been in the game since the ICO over 8 months ago and hadn't been patched until now, but I'm just glad that they did patch it, and that especially with the vehicle orientation bug, they did patch that one actually relatively quickly. That being said, I really hope that this is a turning point for Squad. This game is just notorious for the very little annoying bugs. I said this a lot in the last video. Squad has a plethora of just little bugs that you end up just having to deal with that you encounter every once in a while. And I'm going to show a bunch of clips here of some bugs. Some of them are old and are patched out of the game, and some of them aren't. But there's still a plethora left in the game, and there's some I can't even show here because they're all audio related. But it's just been a problem for so many years that every update, you know, they're going to add bugs with it. I hope OWI can take this as a learning opportunity on how to release the content. The content in itself is great until you realize that every single update they do somehow breaks the game, either in a big way or in a minor way. Every update they seem to add just adds more and more bugs, and this has been a problem for years. It's just been something that we've had to live with. Other game devs occasionally add bugs with updates, but it is nowhere near as insane in the quantity as OWI, and I, as long as many others, hope that they can at least just take some time and take a break from all this new content in terms of factions, maps, etc., and take the time to actually make the game playable again, to make the game feel better, to make the performance better, because all of these little bugs have just been in the games for years, and a lot of them have just not been patched out and are still, they rear their head every once in a while. And I would love to be able to play squad without having to worry about a little thing every single match. Now, I want to be clear, I don't expect OWI to be perfect. Every update we hear and every Q&A we hear that OWI is working on a mountain of spaghetti code and that it continually breaks the game every time they try and update it. But for me, that just means that they need to take a break from the new content and take the time to fix the game, to do a sort of Operation Health as Rainbow Six did years ago when I still played that. Just take the time off of content to work on the fundamentals of making the game feel better to play and making the performance better and the overall match feel better. My goal with this little tangent isn't to hate on OWI. I really appreciate what they've done with Squad and sticking with its development through all these years. I just want to point out what I hope that they do for the best longevity of the game and to maintain the player base that they currently have, especially with experienced players. I mean, their content right now is seemingly all advertised to get new players in, which I know that makes the money, but at the end of the day, when older players don't want to play the game because it has all these problems, it really hurts in pub servers, and you could just see the experience drain and drain and drain, and it just doesn't seem to get any better. Obviously, there's a lot of other changes that go into that other than just performance, and that could be a whole nother video talking about the need for a new tutorial and need for better explanations for new players on how to actually play the game and what they should be doing, not what they can do. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. I want to thank again the original people who posted these bugs and documented them so that OWI was able to fix them, and I'm just very grateful that OWI was able to get these out on a timely manner after that video was published. Other than that, thanks for watching till the end, and hope to see you guys next time.